Okay, so question 2, number 1, I think I was asking for the probability that students would need more than 250 in repairs. So since the mean was given and the standard deviation was given, I could just plug this into norm CDF. This was my lower bound, this was my upper bound. I was calculating area to the right. To the right of 250. And then I just set this as my mean, this as my standard deviation, and I got 0.3857, which is 38.57%. For II, it was asking for how much repairs cost for a student who was at the 90th percentile. So I just used inverse norm for this, and the area I set was 0.9 since we were at the 90th percentile. And I said 232 as the mean and standard deviation as 62. Both of those were given. And I got $311.45. And then for question B, it was asking which one of the two schools had a higher variance. And so in order to calculate Discovery's variance, I knew that we were at the 80th percentile and I knew the value was 276. But in order to know the exact C-score, I had to use my norm CDF, and I just did that as my lower bound, upper bound, and then, that's my mean and my standard deviation. And then I just used a C-score formula. This was the number that was given, and then this was the mean for Discovery, and then this was the C-score. And I was pretty much just solving for the standard deviation so that then I could square it and find the variance of Discovery. So then I put the standard deviation on this side divided by 0.788 on this side, and I got 48.22 as my standard deviation. Then I squared it, and this was the standard deviation, the variance for Discovery. And we were given the standard deviation to GSMST earlier. So I know this looks like 622, but it's really 62 to the second power, which was 3,844. So obviously GSMC had a higher variance just because the number was higher. And then for this question, I said that he might be a little upset, just because his variance is higher, so that would mean that he has high cost and low cost, and he would probably just want low costs. But then he would also think about the sample size, and he would probably know that variance and standard deviation is negatively or inversely related to the sample size. So a higher standard deviation would mean that the sample size is lower. So because their standard deviation is higher, then it would mean that their sample size is lower, and that less students are bringing in their computers to be fixed. So that would probably be something that cost them gully.